Okay. So in the last session, we have seen the one-dimensional collection framework. In one-dimensional collections, we have seen collection interface. Okay. We have seen list. We have seen set. We have seen sorted set. We have seen, navigable set. Navigable set. We have seen queue. Queue. So let's revise it. What when we have to use what? So if you want to represent a group of individual elements as a single entity, then you should go and use the collection. If you want to represent a group of individual elements where insertion order should be preserved and duplicates should be allowed, and adding the data in the middle, beginning, middle, at the end. If you want to retrieve the data forward and backward directions, go and use the list. Okay. So next we have a set. So set is a subinterface of collection. So if you want to represent a group of individual objects where duplicates should be allowing, and it will be adding the data at the end, it will be retrieving the data only forward directions, go for set, and it will be displaying the data in random order. Okay, we don't know in which order it is going to display the data because it is calculating internally. There will be hash code is kind of like, it will be there is hashing mechanism is there. It will be following the hashing mechanism. It will be calculating the code. So we don't know how the hashing will be working it. Okay, so we don't know in which order it is going to display the data. So if the requirement is something like that, so you should be using set. So sorted set is quite different actually. So if you want to represent a group of individual elements where duplicates are not allowed, and whatever the data you have added, it should which is sorted based on some sorting technique. Okay, so alphabetically it will be sorting it. Okay, so then you should go and use the sorted set and navigable set. So you'll be using this navigable set for the, like, if you are working with the navigations, and you'll be going to use this navigation. And queue is nothing but first in first out. Whatever the data you have added at the element or the object you have added at the first, the same object you are going to take a note. The best example for this is the emails. Sending an emails by adding peoples to the group and sending an emails, whatever the order you have added the members to the group, in the same order it will be going to deliver the data. Okay, these are the interfaces, the 1D collection or one-dimensional collection which we have discussed. Okay, so one-dimensional collection will be storing the data in the form of row or column. It would be something like this. It could be 10, 20, 30. Row in the sense, column in the sense, this is 40, and column in the sense, so it would be something like this. It will be either in this way or that way. You can consider 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So if you are adding the values like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so it will be storing in a row format, or it will be storing in a column format like this. Okay, fine. So let's discuss the 2D collections. Okay, so 2D collections. So in 2D collections, how the data is going to store. Let's discuss that first. Okay, so let me copy this. Paste it over here. So 2D collections. What are the interfaces we have in 2D? Okay, so we have three interfaces: map interface and sorted map, and we have a navigable map. So these are the interfaces we have. Okay. Yeah. So let's discuss it. So what exactly 2D collection framework, and so 2D in the sense that two-dimensional collection framework. So we have map, sorted map, navigable map as the two-dimensional collection framework. So map will be storing the data. So let's see the map first. Okay, map will be storing the data in the form of key value page. Okay, for example, let's say example, we'll be using this in order to store the contacts, something like that. For example, let's say name is the key, and the value for the key is let's say if like phone book is the best example for this actually. So in our phone book we have a name and we have a contact as well. So let's say, for example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this is the contact number. So whenever we are whenever I am calling the name, I'll be getting the key value, which is nothing but our contact number. Okay, So map interface will store the data in the form of key value pair. Okay. So this is the example. Okay. And the second point is map doesn't store the duplicate keys. It doesn't store the map doesn't take or store the duplicate keys, but values can be duplicated. But values can be duplicated. Duplicated. Okay, let me see a scenario. For example, I have a map which will be taking a string name and I have a contact number, let's say long. Okay, so these are the, I'll say this contacts as the contacts equals to new HashMap, which is the implementation of this map. Okay, you can use HashMap, linked HashMap. We'll discuss that concept later. Okay, so which is not where what I'm writing over here is these are called generics. So generics, which is generics, what it will tell is what type of values you are storing in a map. So the key is string and the value is long. For example, I want to store some contact details. Let's say, for example, contacts dot to add the context details to add the key value pair to a map. We have a method called put. So we will be using a put method and we will be adding the key value pair. So put method will be taking the key, okay, and value as a parameter. So over here our key is what? So our key is a string. So let me give the string. I'll be giving the name as, let's say, I'll be giving uh Akif is the string and his contact number is, let's say, 7013806 the 3338. Okay, fine. So let's say in the same way, see if I want to add one more key, if I want to add one more contact, so I'll say contacts dot put of, so let's say now I'll be adding one more contact details. I'll say Raham. I'll be giving the contact details as something like this. Okay. So let me add one more contact. So contact dot put of, let's say, Yan. I'll be giving the contact details 7022 something. Okay. So these are the different contacts which I've added where the key would be a string and value would be a long. Okay. So and here map, as I said, map doesn't take duplicate keys. Okay, for example, let's say contacts. So spelling wrong. Okay, here I have written wrong. Put contacts dot put of Ayan. Okay, but I am giving the different contact number now. Even though you are giving the different contact number, this will not accept. Okay, so map doesn't take duplicate keys, but you can give duplicate values. Okay, so for contacts dot put of, I'll give this, let's say, uh, safe. I'll be giving the contact number as, let's say, 701380688. Okay, so here you can observe the value is duplicated, but not the key. Okay, so understood. So map is one of the interface which doesn't take duplicate keys, but it will take duplicate values. Over here, you can check it. Okay, so when you should go for map? So if you want to represent a group of individual objects as key value pairs, and it doesn't take duplicate for keys, then you should go for map. We want to represent group of individual objects as a key value pair, then you should go and use map. Good. Fine. Key value pairs where keys should not be duplicated, but value should be duplicated, but values will be duplicated. In this scenario, you'll use map. Okay. So map will be having a methods. Let's discuss the methods of map. Let me write this is a map interface. Map interface. So map will be having a methods. So let's see the methods of map. So what are the methods we have? Even I'll cover these methods in the methods section in collection framework. I'll be creating a separate playlist for this. I'll be handling over there in that playlist. You can check that. Okay. So I'll be giving only whatever the methods like which are like necessary for adding an element, removing an element. Okay, for like getting the element, I'll give the basic methods. So if you want more advanced, you can go and check it in my YouTube channel playlist. Okay, so let's come to over here. So we have a method if you want to add an element to a collection map interface. Okay, we have a method called put, which we have discussed, which will be taking the key and value as a params, and it will be returning value. It will be returning v, which is nothing but value. Okay. Now, so this is one method. Let me apply it. Let me increase the font size over here. 22. Fine. Second, I'll be having a method called remove, which will be taking the key as a parameter. Okay, you'll be passing a key and you'll be removing an element from the key. Okay, so this will return the object which we have removed. So by passing a key, for example, let me take an example. Let's say here, let me come to this one. So let's say I want to remove this scythe. Okay, so I want to remove an object of scythe. So I'll say context dot remove of, I'll pass a key. What is the key over here? Scythe is the key. I'll pass it. Okay, just I'll pass the key over here. So this will be successfully removed, and this will, whatever the object, whatever the key it is removing, that value it is returning. Okay, so over here it will be returning a value. So it would be this 701. Let me copy this and just paste it over here. Okay, for adding an element to a map interface, we'll be using put. For removing an element, an element, we'll be using a remove method. A remove method which will be taking the key as a parameter. Okay, fine then. Okay, so now third thing. So if you want to retrieve an element, if like we have added the elements to the map interface, right? So these are the elements we have added. Okay, I want to retrieve all these elements. We have for all retrieving all these elements, we have a method called elements method. We have a method called elements, sorry, not elements, values, which will be returning a collection actually. A method called values, which will be returning a collection. Okay. So these are some of the basic methods. Okay, we have covered. Okay, so in the next section we will be discussing about the sorted map. Okay, thank you guys.